Okay, we are on record, and that is our second session in the online QA class. So guys, it is my understanding that you watched the video or webinar or both on graphic user interface testing, and we will talk about it a little bit. My major kind of message to you is when we teach something here in that class, we have two focuses. So focus number one is you have to get a job. That is what we teach you. Focus number two, which is no less important, you have to be able to keep the job. And when it comes to graphic user interface, it helps in both. On one hand, if I put in your resume something like you implemented or let's say you validated compliance of website or web application with graphic user interface standards developed by US Department of Health and Human Services, everybody will be impressed and they will really want to ask you, so what is that? Because most of the people have no idea about existence of those standards. So it does help to get a job, to attract some attention. And then when you start working for a couple of weeks, nobody expects anything from you because you are supposed to learn the application. So they expect you to work hard to learn things, but nothing in terms of bug report. And here you come, and from the day one, you start reporting bugs, not exactly on how the application works, you don't know much about that, but on the way it looks like. So you will be remembered by those companies because it is very rare to see anything like that. And so that is the value of graphic user interface standards, and the only way to learn it is by applying. Which means I gave you that form, which is Orange HRM online form, and it is not attached to anything. It is an old form which they keep on their website, so there is no functionality there, just the way it looks. And so I said, okay, guys, we have rules of graphic user interface. Let's apply the rules. And since I didn't receive any single report, I'll do it with you. It's not a big deal. So, but guys, the only way to learn the rules is applying the rules. You might not you might memorize it by heart. You can just learn them, like 5-6 rules, you can learn them by heart, but doesn't mean anything because if you didn't apply the rules, they are not a part of you. You didn't internalize the rules unless you apply them. That is the value of that exercise. Let me open that form. I will open it in a new window. Okay. Orange HRM. HRM is a typical abbreviation for Human Resources Management application, and it is an open source application, so you can use it. 30-day free trial, whatever. It's a very nice application, and I talked to people who developed that software. They work out of India, and they have quite a few clients in the United States. So we are in agreement with them that we're going to test their product, but we stopped doing that some time ago because we have to rotate our projects. We have to move from project to project. So guys, here is the form. Here is the form on the left. So ignore the icons on the right. So here is the form. And what are the rules of graphic user interface? I actually put them together out of the slide in our presentation. So the rules are here. Rule number one says, if you look at any dialog box, if you look at any web form, so disable controls if you cannot use them, and which is a very common rule of graphic user interface. Guys, I have to mute you because I have noises here and it's not acceptable. So disable controls if cannot use them. It is not just about controls inside the dialog boxes. It is also about controls in, let's say, menus. Look at that. So we have cut, copy, delete, go to, menu items, disabled. Why? Because I cannot use them. If I select something, so the picture will change. So if I deselect, so some items are enabled and some are disabled. So same with dialog boxes. It is a very generic rule in nature. So let's take a look at the form now. So here is the form. Check availability. So the idea here is I can say something like Portnoy school here, and it will create my account at, it will be portnoySchool.orangehrmlife.com. And we are saying, okay, let's check availability. URL is available. Good. What if I just say Portnoy? It is still available. Good. What if I say 1, 2, 3? Your favorite URL should be at least 5 characters. No, it's okay. Guys, why am I doing that? Because unless I really specify something in the favored URL field, text field, the button, check availability button, should be disabled. So what if I click it now? You must supply valid URL. Wow. And another one, when I do 1, 2, 3, when I do check availability, it says it should be at least 5. Listen, unless I put 5, don't make it enabled. Microsoft is very strict on that. Microsoft says disable control if user cannot use it, and it is better than providing user with a message saying, explaining why user cannot use it. So there is no way you say, yeah, we might do it this way or we can do it that way. There is a very straightforward instruction from Microsoft on that button to be disabled. So why don't we just write a bug report here? Let's say bug report number 1. So, I'm sorry. Bug report number 1, we are saying disable check availability. Check availability button if the favored URL text field has less than 5 characters typed in. Disable check availability button if the favored URL text field has less than 5 characters typed in. So I brought together two things. I'm not just saying disable if it is empty. I'm saying disable unless it has 5 characters typed in already, at least 5. Because if it is 4, it should be disabled. Okay. So what is the second? Oh, actually, let's see if there is anything else to be disabled. So we have that button. Okay, we have text fields. Good. Okay. Comments. I understand and agree to the terms. So as the submit button is disabled. So unless I check actually 2 boxes here, it is disabled. Guys, I can tell you something which I don't like about that. See what happens. We've got lots of required fields. The asterisk on the left tells us that field is required. And let's say I provide 0 information. Let me refresh the form. Let me refresh the whole thing. Yes, I just did F5 key on my keyboard, so which stands for refresh. Now, the form is refreshed. The submit button is disabled. I can make it enabled, even though the required fields have no input here. So what's going to happen if I push that button now? Your favorite URL field should be at least 5 characters. Listen, why in the world the button is enabled? Okay. Okay, let's put here something. Then I'm saying submit. Please fill the first name. It moves me name field by field. Anyway, why in the world that button is enabled? Tell me. there might be a reason, like let's say I fill out everything, but some or maybe one single field is not, is not having the data. So at least it will suggest me which field, this and that. Yeah, because most of the forms we've seen in our life, they still have that button enabled, and if you miss a field, the error message will come one way or another way, and that is the only reason I'm not writing a bug report, because I know in the industry, so the industry practices are such that in web forms that button would be enabled no matter what. No matter what. We have some trigger here in the form of two checkboxes here, but still it's not about required fields having or not having the information. Okay. Then it says specify default button. So the meaning of default button is very simple. Let's say I open a dialog box, let's say font. OK is a default button. How do I know that? It has a frame around it. Okay. What is the meaning of default button? If I push enter key on the keyboard, I didn't touch anything, I just push enter key, it will press that button. Now, and the rule says specify default button. In dialog boxes, it is extremely rare not to see a default button, but in web forms, it's very common, it's everywhere. Let me refresh the form. So we just come to that form, very fresh, didn't do anything. Now, what if I push the enter button, enter key, I'm sorry, on my keyboard? Well, it was refreshing the form. You know why? Because the pointer was in that field, in the URL field. Now let's put pointer here. Let's go somewhere in the field, in the form, Say enter. I do not see anything. I mean, nothing happens. There is no default button here. That button is disabled. Is it looking like a default button? So what if I do enter now? Nothing. So guys, obviously there is no default button there. And that is what we write in our bug report. We are saying bug report number 2. Bug report number 2. We are saying there is no default button specified. There is no default button specified. Good. Okay. I'm trying to unmute you in case you might have some input to what's happening here. Okay. Rule number 3. Specify which field gets default input focus. What is the meaning of default input focus? Well, let's say I'm saying file save as. And when I start typing, my typing goes into some field. And I can easily say which field. It is going to be file name field here. How do I know that the data is selected? So when I start typing, it goes to the file name field.
It's flashing.
Flashing, yeah, the pointer is flash. Okay, one more time. File save as. The field is not flashing. The cursor is, yes, it's the very right of that. But I have visual indication of where my input is going to be, and it is called default input. Yeah, there might be some default value provided, or there might be no default value provided. But yes, I might know it is a default. It takes the input. Yeah, for example, here, find what field doesn't have any text in it, but I can see the cursor, mouse pointer flashing, so I know when I start typing, it goes to that field. It is called default input focus. My question here is, let's go to that form, and you know what? Let's exit it from here. Let's exit that window. Go to the page of our class and push that link again. So we do not type to URL, and just guys, where is the mouse pointer? Where is it going to be flashing? Is there going to be any place which accepts default input focus? Because what normally happens in most of the web forms. When you start typing, it goes nowhere unless you take mouse, click on that field, and then it will accept your typing. So let's try to type.
Mike?
Yes.
Excuse me. For the first checklist box, I tried to figure out if we need to put dot, because this checkbox doesn't have answer for column / dot.
Which checkbox are you talking about?
On the top, the first URL, for URL.
URL here?
The URL.
Look, URL is not a part of our application. URL is a part of the browser. So
Okay.
I don't care about URL. I care about what's inside the browser, what's in that window here. URL,
Yep.
So browser is a Windows application. I don't care about Windows application browser. I care about what the web application is about inside.
Okay. So
Yes, there is no checkbox here. Actually, when you talk about URL, where do you see any checkbox? What do you mean checkbox?
no, just as I talk about check availability and they give information and label favorite URL.
Yeah, but what is a checkbox?
No, you talk about dialog boxes.
No, we have no dialog boxes here. We have a web form. It's a web application. It's not Windows application. So when I was showing you Notepad, it is a Windows application, and we have a dialog box here. Rules for dialog boxes are same rules for web forms. That is why we look at the dialog box form rules, and we apply them to the web form, which is not a dialog box at all, but it follows same rules. And right now we are talking about a specific rule which says when you open the dialog box, or let's say when you open a web form and you start typing, your typing should go somewhere. And here is the rule. It says specify which field gets default input focus. It's in our lecture. If you listen to the lecture, so it's there.
Yeah.
Specify which field gets default input focus. We have no field which takes input focus, gets default input focus, and that is the bug report we write. We are saying there is no field in the form which has default input focus. And guys, I didn't choose that form because it has lots of bugs. It's just another form I know. I know lots of forms. And I just like that one because it's a very casual form. There is nothing specifically bad about it. Nothing really bad. And 9 forms out of 10 you ever test in your life will be no better than that one when it comes to graphic user interface. I'm showing you the way to start writing bug reports your very first hour. You look at that website, page number 1, page number 2, page number 3, you see the form, you see whatever you see, and you start writing bug reports like crazy. And that is the purpose of what we are discussing here. Then we are saying, yes, more questions?
No, I'm just trying to analyze. When I was trying to analyze this form myself, I found only one mistake. I mean, only
Which
one
one?
bug. The check availability. And the one more, I'm not really sure about that. So I was going to ask about that. The very first line says, note, the star, all fields are mandatory, but not all the fields has this star. Is that a bug or not bug?
What it says if you see the asterisk, the red asterisk, guys, they live in India, you know, they might not really say in English things the way we say it here, even though English might be their native language. I don't know, maybe not. Well, what they are trying to say, if you see that asterisk, so each and every field, or let's say all the fields which have asterisk are mandatory, and mandatory is a bad word. the required field. The correct technical term for that is required field.
And without the word all.
Mandatory has same meaning, but it is not coming from graphic user interface vocabulary. They are using human language rather than technical language, which is better. All fields are. They should say each and every field with an asterisk is a required field.
Right.
You might say that. You might not say that. Everybody knows that anyway.
Yes. Sometimes they don't need to tell this because everyone knows that this is
Again, it is nice to say that. It's very nice to say that. But what I would do, I would go and look how in other applications people say that. Specifically, I will not go to other applications. I will go to the application we want to be like. Anytime your company develops software, they know exactly the applications they want to be like. When you ask your manager, listen, if there is some kind of question on the way it looks, is there any application we want to be like? They will tell you right away. It doesn't have to be in requirement. I mean, it's very nice to have it in requirement. Normally, they don't have enough time to do that. So it comes from the atmosphere. It comes from the practices of the companies. And that is, it's not just about graphic user interface. Sometimes functionality is of same kind. If everybody does it, you have to do it too. So it becomes a requirement. So when someone does it, it's nice to have. If everybody does it, it's must have. So that is the difference. That is how we extract requirements from the air, from the industry, from the atmosphere in which users see lots of different applications. That is one of the rules of the game.
Michael.
Yes.
My question is, okay, the words they put in, it's just not correct language. All fields are mandatory. I would say the correctly would be like fields are required. But do we consider that as a bug or not?
It is a bug. It is absolutely a bug. But anytime you come up with a bug report, you need some justification. You might say Microsoft book says that. You might say graphic user interface standards coming from US government are saying that. The application we want to be like is done that way. So they need some justification. Why? And I would say we can actually rewrite it ourselves, but I wouldn't rewrite it myself. I would go and look how other people do it. Go to Microsoft.com, go to Google.com, go to any other place where you see a form and see how they do that. And that's it. So obviously we need that form. Let me copy that verbiage here, and let's write a bug report that way. Let's say number 4. It's a very good bug report, by the way. I didn't pay attention myself. Label. It is called label. A verbiage which explains the meaning of this and that. It's called label. You know what? No, it's not a label. No, it's not a label. Favorite URL is a label. That one is, let's call it a static text. Static text is the text you cannot change. So static text, note, all fields are mandatory, okay? Should be rewritten to be consistent with ABC application. Whatever application you want to be like. Static text, note, all fields are mandatory, should be rewritten to be. You might go and come up with exact verbiage of that text, in other application, which is also very nice. Okay, guys, we are looking at other rules. Next rule is, it says tab order, logical or left to right, top to bottom. What happens? Say it again.
I'm sorry, Michael. I checked already tab order. It worked.
Yeah, it works correctly.
For me, it skips submit button on Google Chrome.
Guys, we are testing. Okay, we are testing. Let's try. I mean, you did it, but I might have different idea of how it should be done, and maybe I can see more since I have some experience already. Let's try. So why we care about tab order? Because very often that is how people fill out forms. First name, last name. So first name tab, last name tab, company tab, title tab. So they do not have to take mouse every time and click to another field. So they can type without leaving the keyboard. So it is a very convenient, very important feature. But so if I do it that way, what I need is a logical order. It should move in the logical order. Sometimes there is no logical order. It just has to be done some way. So if there is no logical order, we are saying, okay, let's make it left to right, top to bottom. That's it. Here we come. Here is the form, and we are in favored URL, blah, blah, blah. Let's type Mikhail Portnov. I'm not sure if it will allow me space. I do tab, and tab brings me to the check availability. Guys, how would I push tab button without mouse? What should I do? What should I push on the keyboard?
Enter.
Enter is not the best way of doing that, guys. Space.
Space.
Space key will push the button. Yeah. URL is available. I do another tab. If you have, let me show you the tab. Okay, let's say I have the checkbox. Yeah, I can do space to the checkbox. See, it will trigger toggle. It's called toggle, not trigger, but it will toggle the checkbox. It will push buttons. So space, you can type space to different controls, not necessarily the text field. So first name, whatever, tab, whatever, tab. Whatever, company, address, country, let's say, whatever, something, okay, company email, contact phone, no? Why?
Just numbers.
Email doesn't.
Okay, just has to be digits, you mean? One more time, tab, digits, okay, good. Number of employees, also digits. Industry, tab. Okay, so it looks like we are going in a logical order. Next. Wait a second. Wait, one more time. I was here, and I'm saying tab. And then I'm doing whatever 76C8X5. Then I do tab. Click here to refresh. Okay, makes sense. Tab, space, understand and agree terms. Yes, tab, space, tab, submit. Guys. Perfectly, invalid, yeah, but okay, but it works perfectly. So I just pushed submit. I did tab through it. The verb for that is called to tab through. Tab is a verb now. So to tab through, I did tab through successfully, and it was perfectly logical. Not to mention it was vertical anyway. But yeah, it was logical. Very good. So no complaints about tab order. Yes. What? Any comments?
If you skip number of employees and put 0, application will work.
Okay, let's go there. If instead of this I say 0.
Yeah, I check every box.
What do you mean application will work? It will allow me to submit. You know what? It is a valid number. It might be just me, and my wife, and we have no employees. We have millions of companies like that in the United States.
At the same time, it's unused space because it's many zeros. They're just more than supposed to be like 1,000, not 250 million.
Well, you cannot really judge that. You might have an idea, and then if you have an idea, you have to go and find out. you have no authority, no knowledge, to judge. Anytime something looks suspicious, which is important, it is a part of our job. Anything looks suspicious, what do? We go and find out. We do not write bug reports because something is suspicious. We write bug reports if we know exactly what's wrong. And what you think about the application which you have no idea about yet, you don't know what they have in mind. We will talk about bug reporting. We will talk about certain rules involved, which is going to be maybe in the next session. We'll see.
Excuse me, Michael, what it means I am client?
What do you mean I am? Oh, instant. I think it's instant messages. And honestly, I don't know. You're asking me what functionality of the application I see first time in my life, actually. I don't care. The nice thing is I don't care. I am client. To me, it's instant messaging, but I don't know. I am username, so maybe they want me to, I don't know, really. Then we go to the rules again, and it says,
Excuse
provide,
Michael, I have a question.
Sure.
About this field, number of employees. It allows us to put just the digits, correct?
I don't know. I didn't try. Let me try.
I checked that.
No, I can paste.
Oh, it can.
Characters. So it didn't allow me to look. If I cannot type characters, it doesn't allow me to type characters. But if I say Portnov here, okay, and then I copy Portnov and paste here, it allows me to paste non-digits.
No,
We are talking, guys, about another step in our testing process. At some point, we will talk about how to test text fields. And text fields are tested for how many characters they take and for what kind of input they allow to provide. And sometimes they do not allow you to type something. Let's say, where is the zip code here?
My question is different. Yeah. My question is different.
Yeah.
I mean, in this field, we can put only digits up to now, or copy-paste the characters.
Okay.
But this particular line should allow you to put the sign not applicable. It's not supposed to be only digits. It's supposed to be not applicable sign as well.
I do not understand. So you are saying it should accept more than just digits, or?
Yes, exactly. Because sometimes
This is what I say.
you can just put the sign not applicable.
Which sign?
In the field number of employees.
Okay.
Not just like 5 employees or
Yeah, this is what I explained.
You
that it's
should
supposed
be allowed to put a sign, for example, not applicable.
What's not applicable?
Number
because
of
so
employees.
many people, it's supposed to be like 1 million, 3 million, maybe 50, no, not
Guys,
all
we are
America.
talking about different line of testing. So far, we are talking about graphic user interface. We are not talking about functionality. What you are discussing is functionality. You have very good point. And absolutely, there should be.
Is that a bug or not?
Well, it is a bug, absolutely. Absolutely, it is a bug. So the values accepted should be reasonable. And absolutely, you have to ask yourself, so what is the maximum number of employees we can think about? Let's say, God knows, 1 million. Okay, then it should take just, 6 digits. That's it. 10 million, okay, 7 digits. But the application itself is designed for small and medium-sized companies. So I would say 500 probably is the largest. So they might easily put 3.
What if I just don't want to share the number of employees in my company? So I can just put.
No, you do want to share because you want to get free trial, and you get free trial in exchange for sharing the information. They don't have to give you anything for free, really. So they give it to you for free, and they learn a little bit about you, and you don't even have to tell them what exactly the name of your company is. I mean, you are not obligated. You can put any name there. You can provide your personal email, the email you just created for the purpose of talking to them. really, but they ask you, it's important to them. They want to know who comes to their website and what kind of people, they attract. It is different. They have some model in mind. So when they come with requirements, they envision certain type of user, Guys, let's go back to graphic user interface because that is what we are focusing on so far. It's not about functionality yet. Provide default values to the fields if appropriate. Default values if appropriate. When I say file save as, it comes with the default value of session2.txt, which is the existing name of the document. So sometimes it makes sense to provide a default value. For example, if I search for Portno and find nothing, and then I come again and say edit search or find, it offers me the previously searched string because they decided it's convenient, it's a nice feature. So here it says provide default values to the fields if appropriate. Is there anything here which might have default values? I don't really think so.
I don't think so.
They might come with a country, by the way, because when you go to the website, they know pretty much where you are coming from. They know your IP. In most of the cases, they can figure out your country. But again, it's a nice feature, but nothing special, nothing to really request. Then there is something here which we don't have in our rules, but I will tell you. When it comes to controls, not the form itself or dialog box as a big picture, but controls. Let's say we have that, it's called label. First name is a label. Labels should have colon at the end. Here is a colon. Labels should have colons at the end. And they do, by the way. Favorite URL has a colon. First name, last name, job title, company name. Company name has a colon and few more spaces in between. So spaces are kind of sloppy. It's inconsistent and it doesn't look nice. So keep going. Country, email, contact phone, number of employees, industry. Enter the code has another space here. One more. And two of those have no colons at all. So guys, that is another bug report I will write. Actually, more than one bug report. I will say. So I am client number 5. Number 5. I'm saying okay. Field name goes in double quote, so you know it's the name of the control. So I am client. Label is missing. It's colon character at the end. It's character at the end. Now I'm saying copy, paste,
And username.
number 6. And it goes to label is missing. It's not I am client, it's I am username. Guys, why in the world I am doing 2 bug reports instead of 1? I mean, they are the same. I can say in one bug report, I can say such and such label and such label both are missing the colon character at the end. Why do I do 2 bug reports?
It's supposed to apply for every number that's supposed to be fixed.
So 1 bug report per 1 bug to be fixed. I do not want to put more than 1 bug in 1 bug report. Why? Come on. It's an easy question.
You want to say 1 paragraph?
Because it's absolutely separate bugs and they're supposed to be fixed separately.
Yes.
They cannot fix them in one step.
They might, but then it becomes difficult to track. So what if I put 5 problems in 1 bug report and they fix 3 and they do not fix 2 and they say fixed? So then I have to go there, close that bug report and maybe write 2 more bug reports. So just for the purpose of tracking what's happening there, I do not put, and not just me, it's a rule of bug reporting. So everybody does it that way. So you do not put more than one fix, one more problem to be fixed in same bug report. It never say never. So sometimes, guys, we do that, but I wouldn't say there is any specific logic there, but you just feel it sometimes. So you might feel it's fine to do it in one bug report, or you feel it's not fine to do it in one bug report. It's not like 100%, maybe 95%, but that is the rule. So since we are learning the rules of the game, that is the rule to learn. I'm just thinking, is there anything I don't like? Yes?
Michael, excuse me. How about company email? Do you like this label?
I mean, the way it looks, or the way...
The way it looks, because it's just on 2-line and email.
Oh yeah, it is. Look, it is ugly. It is absolutely ugly. But then what happens when we talk about graphic user interface of application? Let me change resolution on my screen. So far, so you can see my screen, guys. Can you see?
Yes.
So far it is 1024 by 768 pixels. Can you see it? Let me do it like, maybe, let me do it like that. Apply. I'm not sure what's on your screen. Okay, So guys, say okay. Here is the application now. Does it look different? No, not really. I mean, we still have that label, you know, as ugly as it was, and
Right.
company name. Yeah.
We put in bug like rearrange label. That,
okay, should we complain about that? So the real question is, should we complain about graphic user interface just being ugly? Guys, absolutely. If something is ugly, it becomes a part of user experience. People experience the ugliness of our software. Do we want user to experience nice stuff, or we want user to say, oh God, such a crap, such an ugly thing? Absolutely. So there are things like aesthetics. So aesthetically, we want our application to look nice. And yeah, I would say, I would request the labels to be rearranged so they take just one line. And again, from the resolution standpoint, screen resolution standpoint, I see no reason why it happens that way. Sometimes it happens because you just do not have enough space. Let's say if the form is like that, so yes, you have no space, but why in the world it happens now? So let's write a bug report. It's a very good point, and it is a graphic user interface point. I like it. So let's say number 7. Okay, the form should be not the form, the controls on the form should be rearranged so that labels are not displayed in 2 lines, whatever, something like that. I don't know. Let's keep it that way. I don't really like the language, but I don't want to spend time to make it nice.
It's really is displayed in 2 lines, but it's incorrectly displayed.
It's not, no. The word incorrect means there is a violation of a rule. You cannot say incorrectly.
Okay.
It is ugly. Okay, it is not looking nice. It is not aesthetically fine, but there is no incorrectness here, because to say incorrect, you have to say where is the requirement of being that way or this way. You cannot judge correctness or incorrectness or this and that, but I mean, what is the reason to have it displayed in 2 lines? Or, well, the controls of the form should be rearranged. Let's rearrange so that labels are not displayed in two lines. I would honestly, guys, I wouldn't even put it in the backtracking system. So in real life, I would probably talk to our marketing manager or someone in marketing department, and I would say, listen, do you think it's ugly, or you think customers will enjoy it? And he will say, I think it's ugly. I say, listen, I didn't tell you anything, but if you really help me to have it fixed, so I will appreciate that. So they have their own channels. So you do not want to come to developers with something they might consider kind of small potatoes and this and that, and they might really not like you much if you come with things like that. It depends, guys. You have to know the company where you work and the relationships and what's nice to be done directly or in a straightforward way, or maybe indirectly. You will see that. Yes.
Michael, how about labels that they do not straight, like company name or company email or contact phone, then label again at the user interface. It's again graphic user interface. They just like doesn't look in the same column.
Well, we just reported that. We just said, please rearrange the form so the label shouldn't go into
company
two lines.
name and
I'm not talking about specific labels here. I'm just saying, look at the interface, and whatever is not looking nice, just fix it. That is what I'm saying. I'm not up to this field or that field, because if they rearrange, they will rearrange all of them. You cannot do it field by field.
Yeah, my point was different. It's because of beginning line. It's different.
Okay, now let's move to the another part of our feature presentation. Okay, we will go to SurveyMonkey, guys, the tool where we did your survey, and let's go through that a little bit. So the question number, yes.
Excuse me, I actually completed.
Well, if you didn't complete it, you didn't complete it. So then you do it later on. I have no choice, guys. I have to go through that form today. Ask yourself why I didn't complete that survey. Really, I don't know. I asked everybody to complete the survey. Now, so graphic user interface standards and guidelines are established by. It is a cool question, because when you write a bug report, they ask you why, who says how it should be done. I thought it's just me and my manager. Not really. Who says? And here we have the answers of 12 people, and part of them are you, and part of them are from previous group, the one which started 2 weeks before you. And so we have 75% of people are saying it is US government who does that. And the question allows you to come up with multiple answers. And the real answer is US government does that for web applications. If you go to usability.gov website, so they have that book with standards for usability and graphic user interface. For web-based applications, Microsoft does that for Windows applications. So both are correct. What I would like to expect to get from you will be 100% for Microsoft and 100% for government, because both are doing that. Then it comes to industry best practices. Guys, what if there is a contradiction and it has to be resolved this way or that way, and there is no exact way, and there is a kind of conflict of interest, and you are saying, okay, if other people do it this way, we have to do it this way, because that is what users are expecting now. So I would expect 100% here. Industry best practices are exactly what we consider when we make decisions on graphic user interface. Policies of your employer, company, team, manager, absolutely. So your manager might say, or it's our company policy to look like Google, or to look like Microsoft Access, I don't know, whatever the application. So they might have their own standards. They might impact the exact way they do it. International conventions, there are no conventions on graphic user interface, thanks God. And Stanford University, I don't know, there is someone who says Stanford does it. Guys, Stanford doesn't do it. It's not like all they do is just teaching students. It's not true. They have lots of research there, but not in graphic user interface. I believe if they start doing it, it will be a nice one, but they don't. Define regression. Yes.
Excuse me, may I ask a question?
Sure.
This is established, and this is established something like general, or because it can be published, it's like the first time established because it's like Apple beginning from them, like history, or they say exactly established, it depends from exactly like you explained. So this established, I think.
Look, when you work, let me answer your question. If you work in a company, and you come with a bug report, or let's say you think, is it a bug? Should I write a bug report? And then let's say you decide it is a bug, and you write a bug report. And then there is a developer, and developer says, who in the world says it is a bug? Why in the world should I fix it? Unless you tell me who says that, I'm not going to fix it. I mean, I will pass on it. And then it's not a discussion of if Microsoft is established enough or US government is established enough to come up with certain standards, or Apple. It's not a question. The question is how we are going to justify that certain thing should be fixed. And again, we cannot go against company policies. They might say, we don't care about GUI. That's it. They might say, we want to be like Google, and even if it contradicts with Microsoft standards, you're still going to be like Google, because that is the company policy. So we are not using terms like established or not established either. We understand the nature of graphic user interface as a practical matter. Okay, or we do not understand the practical matter. Here, it's not like a dissertation or anything, scientific publications. Here we are in a practical business. So my only interest in Microsoft or US government, and the reason I formulated the question is, I want you to know where the standards are coming from so you can defend your decisions. Or you can show them you know certain things they don't even know about. Define regression testing. We give you definitions actually, and I believe you know where they are. But so making sure software error was fixed. That is, well, I don't like that one, okay? It is not how we teach you. Make sure software is not broken while fixing bugs. That is very common answer, guys. Lots of people say that, and we are fighting that answer because it's not about certain problems potentially coming to the software because of the bugs fixed. Anytime they change source code for whatever reason, there is a chance to for things to be broken. And actually, I know one lady, she insists it's 28% probability. I don't know where the number comes from, but she says out of 100 bugs fixed, 28 new bugs in average will be created. So, and we go after those 28 bugs, we want to find them. It's not like they might happen, they will happen. And we know pretty much how many, So, and but it's not about fixing bugs, which results in problems. It's about changing the code. And most of the people here are coming with the right answer, which says, make sure that no new errors were introduced while making changes to the code for whatever reason. And one of the most common mistakes, people say the code was changed for fixing the bug. And that is regression. Regression is not limited to fixing the bug. Anytime it is changed, make sure nothing got broken. Here we have another one, retesting fixed bug reports by executing steps to reproduce. So some people think regression testing is making sure the bugs were fixed. And there is a reason for that. I mean, there are books. Actually, the book you have says it is one of the meanings of regression testing. Guys, ignore that. There is nothing but confusion in it. So when you make sure the bug was fixed, well, you are verifying the bug fixed. So that is the terminology we use. So I verified bugs fixed. Don't say I did regression testing or I did regression on fixed bugs. You can say that. Most of the people understand you, but we don't like that. It creates some ambiguities and it's not good. What do you prefer, white or black box testing? Look at the answer. So most of the people are saying 66.7%, 2/3 of people are saying black box because that is what I was trained to do. No less number. So we are saying black box, but I would like to get involved in the white box testing as well. If there is a chance, I would really appreciate that opportunity. And well, doing black box because it is what I'm trained to do is not exactly, I mean, the good answer. You are saying, okay, currently I am looking for black box testing job. If you guys give me an opportunity to move into white box, I will definitely explore that opportunity. I am interested in that direction, but it's not what I'm doing right now. You want to keep all the doors open. You say, no, I'm just black box. You just shut one door. If you say, oh, white box, you shut another door. You want to keep all the doors open. That is why I'm saying I want black box because that is what I'm doing. But at the same time, if there is an opportunity to consider white box, I will. So then you keep two doors open. The reason they ask you that question is they probably have two. Then we have actually someone says other. Okay, someone comes with another response. It is difficult to say. I didn't use white box testing before. Can you play piano? I don't know, and I never tried. You are interested. You know it is more challenging technically. Definitely you want to be challenged technically. That is the answer. I want to be challenged. I want to learn more. What is quality? We looked at that yesterday, and the major thing here is, to some people, quality is about customer satisfaction, which is subjective, which is difficult to define, depends on the customer. And when you talk to management in your company, they are on that position. When you talk to QA people, they would say quality is how good your product is compared to requirements. So quality has different definition. It depends who you talk to. Very smart. For management, sales agent, to them quality means customer satisfaction. Guys, perfect. For QA manager and other testers who work in QA department, it means how close the software is from. It's not about software, guys. The question was not about software. It doesn't say what is software quality. It's about quality overall. So you might look at that as a consumer, or you might look at that as a manufacturer of, I don't know, automobiles. Doesn't matter. Okay, keep going. Developers, yes.
Excuse me, it means, could you check again the same, show the same result? So if I say it depends on who is customer, and each type of customer will have their own view on quality, it is not enough, we need to describe more.
You are saying, look, there are two different ways to define quality. So you show certain level of maturity there. You're saying it's not just this definition or that definition. You're saying there are two ways we can look at that. One way is to look from consumer perspective. From consumer perspective, it is a customer satisfaction thing. And again, consumer perspective also is very kind of close to some people who work in our company. But since we are quality professionals, we have professional perspective. Because we know the rules of the game. We know exactly what that product should be. Customers might be happy with something which is not even close to what it should be.
Okay.
And so you just show them you understand two different perspectives. That is the purpose. Developers test their code. What software testers are needed for? We discussed that already when we looked at different types of tests. So we found out that developers do not do much of testing. Developers do test their code, and they do positive functionality testing. They do not do negative, and they do not do any regression, which is huge. So most of the testing, developers never even touch. So 13 answers. So here the response is nothing, okay. Developers test functionality, and testers the whole product. I don't know what the meaning of whole product. I mean, that is a bad answer. Software testers provide an objective, independent view of software to allow business to appreciate. Okay, that answer is minus. I told you yesterday, so if you answer an interview question, you are either in 0, like everybody else, minus, worse than other people, or plus zone, and plus puts you out of crowd in a good sense. So that one is minus. It doesn't answer the question. Due to complexity of today's software and the time given for the product to be released, programmers simply do not have enough time to thoroughly test the software. It's true. This is where QA business system plays a vital role. It doesn't explain why testers are needed. So it's just developers have no time. You can say that, guys. You can say, yeah, but it's very expensive to ask developers to do all the testing, but you can come with a better answer. Let's say that one is 0. You didn't use the advantages you have. It is software testers. The software testers need to verify, validate, and do error detection. No, not really. Developers mostly, that one is not negative. Developers mostly conduct positive testing, very good, which assumes that users will behave in the expected way. Software testers conduct both positive and negative to find bugs. Guys, that one is almost perfect because there is something missing here. It is not just positive and negative, it is also regression and functionality. We do all the regression. Software tester determines the correctness, completeness. It's not answering the questions, minus. Testers need bugs to be fixed. It's the main tester's goal. Yeah, it's not what I asked. Testers need for monitoring and improving. That one is trying to answer what's software quality assurance. Developers cannot test their own code. Tell me about it. Okay, so guys, you cannot get a job that way, really. Software testers find bugs, clarifying requirements. They work in a system which provides. So same with developers. Developers test their code, but testers test already compiled software, not really. Testers who specialize in white box testing and structural testing, white box is done. Guys, it's a total garbage here. I mean, total garbage. There is one or maybe two decent answers. Testers are not such educated, well-trained, and high-paid as developers are, which is why there is a reason to not waste their time on something that can be done in a cheaper way. Bad. I mean, real bad, guys. Real bad. It's not what I'm teaching you, okay? And it's not what gives you a job, let's put it that way. Because I'm teaching you how to get a job. What is gray box testing? 11 responses. Let's take a look. Gray box testing is a technique that uses a combination of black box and white box testing. Dead wrong. Dead wrong. Terribly wrong. I mean, you can go to Google and you will see lots of idiots saying that. Guys, they have no idea what they are talking about. White box testing means you test at the source code level. Think about software developer. Software developer runs the application and pretends to be a user. So software developer does black box testing along with white box testing. It doesn't make him a gray box tester. So gray box is not a combination. It's not like you mix colors in a glass of water, you know? So it becomes gray. Black box means you test from user perspective. You don't know anything about the product. Just what customer is seeing, user is seeing on the screen. White box testing is another extreme, so you know all about the product. You work with the code. Gray box testing is testing which is a little bit more complicated than black box. So let's say you have a browser, and if all you care about is what's in your browser, you do black box. But now, what if you push that button in the browser, and then you think, okay, what happens when I push that browser? Then, okay, there is HTTP protocol involved in between your browser and the web server, and there is some request sent to the web server from your browser, and so there is some HTTP request, and then the server talks back to the browser, so then HTTP response is coming back. So then, guys, you are talking about gray box testing. because now you know something which user doesn't know, and user is not supposed to know. If you understand that it's not just web server and there is some application server somewhere, and there is a database server, and there is some exchange between them, wow. So now you are in gray box testing mode. There is a book, pretty good book on web application testing, and the very first sentence in that book says web application testing is primarily gray box testing. It doesn't talk about combination of white box and black box. It is a gross misunderstanding. And I know where it comes from. So if you search for white box definition on Google, you will see lots of things like that. It's wrong. Gray box test, yes.
Excuse me, Michael. What
yes.
if I answer gray box testing? It's test involving inputs and outputs, but test design is educated by information about the code or the program operation of a kind that would normally be out of scope of view of the test.
Look. We are in interview situation here. You go to an interview. You cannot talk like a robot.
Okay.
You speak in human language. So we are not talking about copy-paste of something you find on Google. We talk about what you're going to say if they ask you. And if they ask you, the simplest way to say that is gray box testing is something in between white and black. So I'm not working with the code. That is why it is not white box. I know more than just graphic user interface and kind of what user can see. That is why it's not black box. Sometimes you don't even work with graphic user interface. Imagine you test, let's say, database which is in the backend. There is a database application, so you make sure it does search correctly, it does sorting of data correctly. There is some integrity of data in place, so if you save some data, it is stored properly. So you have no interface. You just use some tools which let you access to the database backend. So is it white box testing? No, you are not writing any code. Is it black box testing? No, you have no interface involved at all. What are you doing? You are doing gray box testing. So whatever definition you come up with, you have to illustrate that. You might say something, but then you have to give a couple of examples. For example, the one I gave you. So if you test database backend, you might write some SQL queries, to run against that backend, but still you are not doing any code, and you are not doing any, application code, and you are not working through the graphic user interface as a user would. Whichever definition you like, but we give you the definition. So we provide you with all the definitions for all the interviews. So we give it to you. Okay, guys, let's move to another question because time is running. What are the common stages of software development life cycle? Wow, let's see. Show responses. Where are they? Project planning, feasibility study, systems analysis, requirement definition, system design, implementation, integration, testing, acceptance, and stuff. Guys, design, implementation, integration. So guys, the question doesn't ask what is software development lifecycle. It asks what are the stages. So you don't have to define the software development lifecycle. The danger of answering what the stages are about is different companies, different teams might have different stages. It depends what they exactly develop, in which environment, and how well it is financed. And lots of things are impacting that. So whatever the cycle you come with, stages of the cycle, it is an example. You say, for example, as an example, it might go this way. You do not want people to think that is the only way you know or the only way you accept, because the way they do it might be quite different. And then that one I don't like. It says project planning. Software development lifecycle is not about project planning. Which project? Software project. Really, it's kind of weird to me. So there is some analysis, obviously. There is some analysis. Then, based on the analysis, we have requirements, which might be part of the analysis stage. So the analysis stage might result in requirements. So we do not necessarily have two stages. And then we have architecture or design. Okay, design, architecture. Then we have implementation. Sometimes it's called coding. Integration, I don't think that is the right place to say integration here. Testing might or might not be a separate stage. Sometimes testing is done in parallel with development. Acceptance or testing acceptance, not really. Installation, and where installation comes from, guys? Why installation is a part of development? So that set of stages is not good. I don't like it. I'm not saying there is anything fundamentally wrong here, but lots of people will come with better set of stages. That is why. Then we have common stages are planning, design, coding. Guys, that is good. Planning is one, whichever way it happens. Design, architecture, coding and documentation, okay. Testing and fixing, nice. Post-release maintenance and enhancement, good. Yeah, that one is much better. It is straightforward. It doesn't involve things which kind of bring some rejection, inside of me. Project planning, system analysis, test design. Okay, we have a very good definition in the list which we give you. So you have to go and read it again and memorize it. Guys, it's important to memorize the answers to the questions. Typical problems in software requirements are the way we teach it, and actually it's in Wikipedia as well. It says requirements have 3 problems, which are nice to be able to find. So, and the problems are, the requirements could be ambiguous, incomplete, and contradictory. So, ambiguous, only 36% are saying ambiguous. Incomplete, 90% say incomplete, which is good. And contradictory is just 54%. Guys, there is no problem in duplication. You can repeat same thing 5 times. It is not going to impact software negatively. Two-dimensional is just garbage. I don't know where it came to my mind. I just said, okay, let's provoke them with some crap. And some people run into that. It's okay. So they're guessing. They just don't know. It is 3 things. Requirements could be ambiguous, incomplete, and contradictory. And if you look at the text I brought from Wikipedia, it says good software engineers might contribute to the quality of software at requirement stage if they identify ambiguous, incomplete, and contradictory requirements. That way, we bring down the probability of kind of code being rewritten. The need for code being rewritten, that is why. Borland says 82% of code being rewritten comes from changes to requirements. So if our requirements are good, so then we don't need that many changes. And that is exactly quality assurance part of the job, not testing part of the job. So who is better tester, guys? You're pretty good with that. The one who submits more bug reports or the one who fixes, who has more bugs fixed. Guys, the purpose of writing a bug report is to have it fixed. That is the ultimate goal. So if you have more bugs fixed, it means you're a good tester. If you have lots of bug reports submitted, but not fixed, it means you write bad bug reports. So your bug reports either are not important or are completely incorrect or make no sense. And if that is what you do and that is how you understand software testing, you might not really keep the job for a long time. So your major concern is fixing bugs. If you know that in your companies they do not fix graphic user interface bugs, they say we don't care about GUI bugs, and you keep writing GUI bugs, you're not a good tester. I mean, you might be good in terms of being able to identify the bug, but you are not a good tester because you are spending your time on things which are not going to be implemented. Why don't you really focus on something which will improve the quality of the application? And then we have ad hoc testing, which is the last thing for today. Okay. So the very first definition gets most of the votes. It's 83%. Random use of software functionality, monkey testing. lots of people say that, guys, but it is not true. It is not exactly true. The right answer here is, and we might provide multiple right answers. So, okay, let me talk about it first. We have exploratory testing. Let's start with exploratory because ad hoc is a subset of exploratory. Here it's a simplified form of exploratory. It's true. I would rather see 100% here because it is a simplified form of exploratory. What is exploratory? Three things happen at a time. So we are learning the product. That is one thing. Learning is the goal. Another thing is we are planning, because unless we really, how can we plan if we don't know much about the product? So we are learning and planning at the same time, and we are running tests. So we do all three at a time. Why ad hoc is a simplified form of exploratory? Because in exploratory, planning comes a little bit before. We are saying, why don't we do this? And then we do it. And looking at what happened, we learn. In exploratory testing, there is no planning component which precedes the execution and learning. All three happen completely, 100% at the same time. So that is why it is simplified. So it has nothing to do with stress testing, and it has nothing to do with user acceptance testing. I mean, someone says it is. No, not really. But it is simultaneously planning and executing. Absolutely. And it is simultaneously executing and learning. So both are 100%. Actually, we do all three simultaneously. Learning, executing, and planning. So that is ad hoc testing. Do not make it too primitive. Do not say, well, it's a monkey testing, no brain, blah, blah, blah. Not really. Not really. You have to be intellectual. I mean, obviously, as a human, you can be like a monkey. I mean, so, but you will test like a monkey. I mean, humans test things differently. It's not exactly monkey testing. Okay, guys, any questions for today?
Excuse me, do we have access to questions to website?
Oh, look, I gave you enough access for a while. Eventually, you will get access to everything. But here, okay, let me show you. It gives you access to let me show you session 2, session 1. Yes, interview questions and answers. Here is the link, and if you go there, it gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 questions with answers, 13 out of 62, which you have to cover in our program. So that is how it works. I will give you more than that. I just don't want to give you too much, for the beginning.
One more question.
Yes.
Our next session is going to be August 30, Tuesday. And what's the homework for this session? I'll
do it, guys. I will put it there. If not today, then tomorrow. Okay. But here is the trick. I will password protect that folder. So you have to decide if you are staying in that class, and if you are staying in the class, then you go to the place where you pay the money, and let me exit the recording.